everybody, it's Carol here at Tocast Journals, and as always a very big warm welcome from me. As you can see, I've got some Oriental pieces on my desk today, so I'm going to be doing a very Asian themed assignment for the penultimate assignment in the Margarete Miller Collage Weekly Planner Challenge. And I know I said it last time, but I really can't believe that I've got here almost to the end of the year and almost to the end of having completed all the assignments. I know that I'm going to enjoy doing this one because I love anything with an Asian or Oriental theme to it, so I'm definitely going to be enjoying doing this one. But having said that, I've enjoyed doing every single one of these and I can't wait to carry on into 2023. So look out for those if you're interested and if you want to see how I get on with those. Anyway, let's get on with number 51. The first one is, or the first prompt is, origami or any type of folded paper. Well, I've got some original vintage temple paper here, and this was a little origami letter locking thingamabob that I did a while back. Really simple to do, and it's been lying around in my craft room, so I thought that I would use this today on my piece. And these points from these two pieces, they just tuck behind these little creases that you make, and there you go. That's the little origami secret or self-locking letter. So I'm going to be using that as my first prompt. Anything that starts with a G, well, because of this has dictated the Oriental theme, so I'm going with Geisha. So I've got some lovely images here of geishas that I've printed off for another project. That little boy obviously isn't a geisha, but he's in amongst these beautiful pictures and images that I've got. And I have, that's a lovely one, I adore that one. So I've got these out for a journal that I'm working on. But out of my little stash, I've picked out these three images because I think these are going to work the best. These two because they've got touches of red on them, and this one just because I like how serene she looks. So one of these three is going to go on my piece today. A herb or other fragrant plant. Well, I've got this postcard in my stash that I made, and I was trying to find the original image of this that I printed off onto photo paper. Couldn't find it this afternoon. So what I've done, and I don't want to use this one, I want to use this in the journal that I'm working on. So what I've done is I've just printed a copy off just onto normal white copier paper. I've not adjusted the colour at all because actually this muted colour is better for what I have in mind. I'm thinking that this will work, but if it doesn't, I'll run off and find another image. An illustration, well, I love the traditional Japanese, very minimalistic landscapes and paintings, drawings that you see everywhere. Now this one isn't very minimalistic, but I do like it, and I've had it in my stash for a wee while as I've worked on that other journal that I keep on referring to. So I thought that I would use this, and what I've done is I've cut it to size already so that it fits inside the frame on my background here, so that will be glued on there any second now. The next prompt is text in a language that is not your native language or English. Well, I've got this scrap that I had left over from doing an earlier project as part of the 50 stack challenge. I used obviously the inside portion, so I thought I might use that, and the reason why is because of the black border around it. I really like that, so I think that will work. I've also got this notebook, which was a Christmas present last year from Santa, and it's an original notebook with a lot of blank pages, but inside there are some gorgeous pages. If I just flip that over like that, now that's all beautiful handwritten script or text. Haven't a clue what it says, but I love it. And I was thinking, let me flip it over again, I was thinking I might end up using just that little square portion up there. I don't know, we'll see. But that's what I've got in front of me. Oh, sorry, the last prompt, washi tape. Oh, crikey, I've got I've got a whole box here. I've got two here that I haven't actually opened yet, and again, these were presents from Santa last Christmas. This one's got large text on it, as you can see, and this one's got some very small text. So I might open one of those and use it. I don't know yet. You will have seen me use these. Now these are those little washi dots, but these have little Oriental symbols on them. So these are washi dots, so they count as washi tape, I'm arguing. So I might use those. I also have these. Now these are the red, they're faux stamps that you get on the bottom of Japanese and Chinese documents. So I was thinking I could use one of those if I wanted a pop of colour. And finally I have these. Now these are frames, washi tape, but frames. And I thought if I wanted to have something a little bit different on my page, I could use one of these, maybe lean towards something like that. Okay, so first things first, I am going to glue this down onto my page and I will be back. So my background is nicely glued down, and oh, beautiful image, isn't it? Really lovely. So I've got my little self-locking origami letter. I'm loving this tree here, so I quite like the idea of this squiggle off to the left, kind of picking up one of the branches. I love this area up here, and I'm liking that the text on here is picking up that little bit of text up there. Not particularly keen on this mountain range there. It's the greys that I'm liking. This obviously is very busy down here. I'm liking the splash of red, and I think I will probably end up covering that up with some book page in a moment or two. So I've been trying out my images. Now this one I liked initially because she was delicate. She tied in roughly with the paper, or the background here tied in with the paper, but she doesn't really work for me for some reason. I don't know why, I can't tell you why. This girl I do like, or this geisha I do like, but obviously I would need to put something around both pieces to soften it, because the background's very busy. You're not really seeing her, although she is a bigger image than this, which makes it a bit easier for actually seeing her as a focal point. I'm also leaning towards this one, and this one is very busy against this background. She is really lost, but if I use my book pages, then I can perhaps use her. And the reason I'm leaning towards her is because of the red that she's got in her outfit that kind of picks up the red from this tree here. So what I thought I could do was bring in this piece and maybe have that on here. Now I am going to tear some of this away, so if you're panicking and thinking, well, that lovely background is just going to be covering it all up, I'm not thinking I will cover it all up, just some of it. So if I do cover some of it up and stagger this little geisha down like that, I've got that squiggle going off from my tree. Maybe if I take that up a little bit like that and bring that down, then I'm quite liking that, because this text actually almost continues the trunk of that tree. I've got a bit of a border. I've got the main border kind of down at the bottom and up the side here. I've got some text coming down there. I've got this area staggered, and I've got some interest here, and I could probably just cut it off about there, and that's the sort of thing I'm thinking of. I would chop away down this right hand side of the border, which would give me that flash of colour there, and similarly chop it off at the bottom, which would soften the transition of this lady, my geisha, onto the background here. So those are the thoughts that are going through my head, and I would probably chop away down this line here as well. So that's where I'm leaning at the moment. So I'm going to do that trimming and see how that looks. Let me just quickly do this first. Now, if I use her, I would probably take away a little bit down here and a little bit here so that I could see that text behind. But I am thinking that the pop of colour there will look good against that red. I could be wrong, so I'm still not sure which one of those I'm going to use. So I think I'll cut it across the top there. I'm going to cut there and just leave it like that for the moment. So I'm going to go away and do that cutting, and I'll be back in 1 second. So as you can see, I've trimmed down my border here, and I've trimmed a little bit off the side here, just still leaving that line of text that's going to line up with the stem of my tree. This piece obviously is still touching my tree. What I think I will do is just cut off above this symbol here so that that area is smaller. And I was playing around with my images. Now I was thinking of having this one like that there, and I'm just going to try and gently lift my hands off, which would give me a line of text to the right hand side of her, a little bit there on the left hand side, and it eases the transition down onto the page. I am liking the reds as I thought I would, and it will give me a little bit of an issue up here, but then I'm thinking that I can either bring in something like, well, that's probably not going to work because of all the reds, but I could bring in my little washi dots and maybe use them in that area. But I want to see how the other geisha looks, or the other image. And I have trimmed her down very, very slightly on this edge. Really, I probably took off 1/8 of an inch, if that, and I've probably taken off 1/2 centimetre off this side. And I'm wondering whether she's going to work better, for the simple reason that she's larger and she will make a better focal point. And I have to say, I'm thinking that she will. I can still fit her in between those 2 points, here and here. I might just trim her off a fraction more off this side so I can get the whole, the complete line of text showing. It still leaves me with a little bit of an issue here, but I can bring in the red stickers, can't I, the red washi tape, to pick up the red here on this flower or on this tree down here. So I think I'm going to go with this lady. I need to get the flower in somehow, don't I? And I was wondering whether to fussy cut it and put it over the top up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fussy cut this out, and maybe just the top bit so that I can slide. Oh, maybe I can do it now and have a look. Yeah, you see, I think that would work. I'm thinking that if I lower it down a little bit more and then fussy cut that out, I think that will work. So I'm going to go with that. And now what I'm thinking is whether or not I actually leave it and don't bother fussy cutting. Okay, first things first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim down my geisha a little bit more, and I'm going to stick this piece and this piece all together so that I'm not trying to hold them in position, and then I'll have a think about what to do with my flower. So I think that's the best way forward. So let me go on, or get on rather, and just trim a portion off this edge here. And as you can see, I'm just taking off the merest smidgen, probably about 3 mil or something like that. Just going to check it's square because that I felt that it had moved slightly. No, that's fine. So let's do this. Okay, those pieces are glued in place now, and actually whilst I was doing it I suddenly thought, well, I've sealed up my self-locking letter and it might be nice to actually leave it open as an origami piece. So what I've done is I've left it so that I can actually open my letter out if I wanted to, or my little origami fold. So that will still work. And I just thought that in the nick of time. So this is how my piece, I'm thinking, is going to look on my page now. So let's try and see what this will look like. I would like to see what it looks like over the top of that if it was fussy cut. Let's try just maybe folding that back gently. I don't want to put a crease in it if I can help it. See what that looks like if I move it across like that. No, I don't like that. I like seeing this bit over the top. So let me have a little think about this one. I don't want it like that where the stem is that tall. I am liking it pulled down a little bit. I think what I'll do is I'll fussy cut this top line and see what that looks like, and take it from there. As you can see, I went completely mad fussy cutting out my fragrant flower. I've got loads of places, with this being a origami piece, to tuck it. Now I was looking at tucking it in there like that. Didn't like that. I could put it in here like so. I could even have it over the top if I wanted to, or down the side there, but I still think I'm leaning to where I originally wanted it, which was across the top. But what I'm thinking now is, rather than have this piece so far over to the left and that showing, I'm actually thinking that if I pop that in there like so and have this portion over the top of this, that I actually don't want to see so much red down there. So I thought that I would just move this across a little bit more, something like that, and have it, there we go, if I just pop that there, have it a little bit more central on my page. And I'm still picking up that squiggle coming off the tree, so I can live with that. That's kind of going to work for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this piece in place and then come back in and glue that, I think. Just going to come in with that piece like that. So I'm quite liking how that's looking. And now what I thought I would do is take the eye away from there, but also sort of have my triangle going. So I've got a bit of red there, a bit of red there, and I want a little bit of red down in this corner. So what I thought I might do is use a piece of this, and that oval one there is the one that I thought might be quite nice just to have in there. I'm actually wondering whether to use that one, and that one all in a line actually, and take it over my page, and I think I'm going to do that. I can always change my mind, can't I? So let me just cut it away there. Just again offer it up. I don't need that piece there, so I'm going to take that piece away. That bit's got to stay there because I can't peel it up now. So I think I'm going to call that a wrap for this one. I'm not liking this on the dark background here, but I like the shape and I like the boldness of this, and I've got my triangle of kind of colour, but that really is bothering me. I'm wondering if I can very, very carefully, if I peel it off, whether I can very carefully cut round the shape. And now I will have to go in with some art glitter glue to help it to stick in place. Yeah, so there we go everybody, that's my piece for this one. I didn't use that, and I didn't use a lot of my washi stickers. I could go in with a couple of these, might be a bit too much, but I'm wondering whether one might be nice here and maybe another one up in here. So let me pop a couple of those on. There we go, that's definitely a wrap for this week everybody. I am going to walk away and leave it now before I get carried away with my washi stickers and washi tape. So for my prompts this week we had origami. Well, I've got my little origami locking letter in here, which as you can see will open up, so it's a little secret journaling spot in there, and you know how I love those. Anything that starts with G, well, I've got my beautiful image of a geisha there. A herb or other fragrant plant, well, I've got my lotus flower up there. An illustration, I've got my drawing at the back here. Text in a language that is not your native language or in English, and I've got my book text at the back there. And bonus washi tape, well, I've got my washi stamps here and also the washi dots that you've just seen me put in. So there we go everybody, thank you so much for watching. As always, I really do appreciate it. You're very kind to join me, and you're always so kind with your comments, and I can't say how much that is appreciated by me. Your support throughout this last year has been absolutely amazing, and I thank you, each and every one of you, for that. Week 52, the final one. I'm going to go and look at the prompts now, and I'm going to ponder all week to see if I can come up with a spectacular one to finish off with. I probably won't, but I'll do my best. So until then everybody, have a fantastic week. Take care,